And what are those symptoms that typically persist, let's say in someone like Terry Sanderson, who was 69 at the time of this crash?
Yeah, so Terry, actually, if you read his record, which is fairly extensive, and the depositions of people that had known Terry very well, his partner, his children, his friends, Terry had been a very high-functioning, high-energy person. He was every day doing lots of things, meetup groups, skiing, wine tasting, volunteering for various organizations, and so forth. But after his accident, he deteriorated abruptly. And many of the activities that he used to do, he stopped doing, like dancing, for the most part, his skiing activities. His personal interactions with his children and his grandchildren suffered. He had trouble multitasking. He normally could, handle multiple projects at once, but he would have to sit there and focus very hard on one task. He would go to Home Depot, for example, and forget why he was there. What was he supposed to get there? And one occasion in the record, he describes having to call the police to come and pick him up because he's lost his car when he was hiking, something that hadn't happened to him before. His girlfriend expressed this change where he had this emotional lability. He would get angry. He would be very emotional about things, which was atypical for Terry. He also experienced a worsening of his depression, and so those are very typical hallmarks of someone who has had a traumatic brain injury.
But someone who has persistent post-concussive symptoms that last longer than, let's say, a year and a half, are those, what does that mean for someone like Terry in the general population?
Well, I think that, in Terry's case, he'd been a physician, an optometrist. He was a very active guy. He was well respected by his family, had a close relationship with his daughters. But I think he lost some of that connectedness. He would be angry with his grandchildren, for example. In the record, it talks about an incident where he's, yelling at his granddaughter for closing a door or something. Just difficulty maintaining friendships, difficulty with the relationships that he had. The partner that he was with, they split. I think that the ability to function at a high level was lost for Terry. It required him, he could function, he still functions, and he was a bright guy to begin with, so certainly capable of doing most things, but many of the things that gave him pleasure in life and many of those friendships and relationships seem to have been abruptly diminished by this injury.